From famous disasters such as the Titanic to a man having reoccurring nightmares of a plane exploding, we take a look at 6 unnerving premonitions that foretold disaster. Number 6. The Titanic. A frightful series of misfortunes went before the sinking of the RMS Titanic. The sea liner almost collided into a ship as it hauled out of the harbor in Southampton. Some said a cat in her litter left the boat, which was thought to be an indication of bad luck. After the sinking, individuals created rumors that a cursed mummy was on board. Others asserted a champagne bottle failed to break at the ship's christening. These stories and numerous more have since been debunked. Numerous individuals claim to have foretold the sinking through premonitions, and we can't dismiss them all as more stories made up after the fact. Some of these people actually refused to board the ship, likely saving their own lives. Annie Ward was a housekeeper who purchased the most lavish suite on the Titanic and survived the sinking. She declined to board the boat subsequent to having a premonition that something terrible would happen amid the first venture. Number 5. World War I. Carl Jung's studies into psychoanalysis involved interpreting others' dreams, but in 1914, he had some significant dreams of his own. He saw the whole sea turn to blood, with multitudes of bodies drowning in yellow waves. Then he saw a cold wave freeze an entire country, killing everyone. Jung saw this as a premonition of war, and he thought further dreams of floods, water stretching from the Alps to the North Sea, represented the horrible trenches that soldiers were forced to endure. He began his last dream in June 1914. Just over a month later, on August 1st, World War I began. Number 4. American Airlines Flight 191. For 10 evenings in a row in 1970, David Booth had the same bad dream. While deep down in rest, he saw a jetliner veering off a runway, flipping totally over, and after that blasting into flames. Booth felt compelled to inform the FAA about his dreams. Officials actually listened to what he had to say and concluded that he was dreaming of a Boeing 727 or perhaps a DC-10 plane. On the day David Booth had his last bad dream, American Airlines DC-10 Flight 191 crashed only a couple of minutes after takeoff. One of the plane's motors broke loose, bringing about an imbalance. The plane flipped on the runway and burst into flames. All 273 passengers aboard died. Number 3. Sandy Hook School Shooting. Logan Dreyer went to Sandy Hook Elementary School until 2 weeks prior to the disastrous shooting that murdered 20 kids and 6 adults. Logan's mom Karen had become progressively stressed when the 5-year-old kid began having fits of anxiety at school. Doctors could find nothing wrong with Logan. When the principal tried to soothe him, his mother said he screamed that it wasn't a safe place. The boy went to his friends' houses amid the time he was at home. However, he got exceptionally upset after these visits, as if he knew something frightful would soon hit them. The disaster happened in December 2012. Karen Dreyer believes her child had distinctive premonitions about the shooting. Though skeptics point out that they were probably just unrelated panic attacks, Karen says Logan inherited his grandmother's psychic abilities, and they saved his life. Number 2. Hurricane Katrina. Jeremy Driscoll, a Benedictine minister living in Oregon, was listening to a report on the dangers of hurricanes in Louisiana when he abruptly had a vision. He saw the Gulf from a northern direction and could make out the state of Louisiana in the distance. The land seemed weak, unprepared for any disaster. A hurricane then came in and destroyed the state, but nobody was killed because the area was deserted. Father Jeremy didn't know whether he had seen a vision of the past or the future, until Hurricane Katrina hammered into New Orleans on August 2005. Jeremy's vision was to be incorporated in his book called The Monk's Alphabet. However, the editors chose to omit it, as they felt people would never believe it. Number 1. 9/11. Barrett Naylor, a Wall Street executive, had 2 premonitions about the World Trade Center that spared his life. On the 23rd of February 1993, Barrett was sitting on the train to work when he had a staggering feeling that he must return home. He never made it into work that day, thus missed the bombing at the Twin Towers that morning. The 11th of September 2001 was one of the biggest tragedies in modern times, as very nearly 3,000 individuals heartbreakingly lost their lives following the attack on the world-famous building. That same day, Barrett endured the same feeling of fear in his approach to work, thus returned home and watched two planes collide with the Twin Towers.